everybody, I'm Melinda Gallant, and I want to welcome you to a beautiful episode of Cape Conversations. We are here at Heritage Museums and Gardens. Oh, it is so gorgeous today. And we've been talking to the show chair of the Southeastern Federation of Garden Clubs. Now, I know of Massachusetts, and I know I got that wrong, but that's okay. Come along, let's have a Cape conversation. Hi everybody, I am sitting at the beautiful Heritage Museums and Gardens, and with me I have a lovely lady who is in charge of all those flowers you can see behind me, which are fantastic. And her name is Hyla Lyman. Hi, Hyla.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. And you came all the way here from?
Falmouth.
Wow, what a drive.
I didn't have to go across the bridge.
No. Well, sometimes you kind of go, thank God, right?
Exactly.
That's true. Well, tell me about this. This is the most beautiful flower displays I have ever seen. You've got everything from fascinator hats to, behind me here is our paint buckets spilling out flowers. So tell me all about this.
Well, this is actually the 39th year that the Southeastern District of the Garden Club Federation of Massachusetts has done an annual flower show. And we've been here at Heritage for a number of years. This is the third year in a row that we've been here annually.
Wow.
We love it here.
Yeah.
And the venue this room is perfect for it.
Oh, sure.
We've been able to put our horticulture out on the terrace.
I saw the tent.
Yes,
Oh,
under the
great.
tent, so it's protected from the wind and the rain and all.
Right.
But it's a perfect venue to have all this beautiful horticulture with the gardens of Heritage surrounding it. But then you come inside where it's air conditioned, thank goodness.
Right now, yes.
Right now, yes. And we have different design, what we call sections, so different types of designs in different groups. And we have, as you said, the artistic crafts, which include the fascinators, we have bracelets, and we have tutus.
No.
All of
I
which
haven't seen those yet.
you have to get around when
I
we're
got to
done.
get around a little more.
All of the artistic crafts are done with plant material.
Amazing.
Generally dried plant material, but people use seeds, they use spices, all sorts of different plant material to create these incredible pieces of jewelry. We have bracelets, we have 4 bracelets.
Wow.
And then the fascinators, as I say, and the tutus.
Well, now tell me, so how many divisions are there in this?
There actually are 5, because we have horticulture, we have design, we have educational, and we have what we call now botanical arts, which is a fancy name for where the artistic crafts are.
I see.
And where the fairy gardens are.
Right, and I happened to take a perusal in the tent, and I saw the fairy gardens. They are all of them are just adorable. Very, very cute. And who would think of that? I mean, I think about doing one in my own yard, but I haven't done. Now that inspires me to do
Well, and
it.
that's what we're hoping will happen. You'll notice on all of the exhibits, whether they're designs, educational, or horticulture, all of the plant material is named. And it is an educational process as well as an opportunity to see these beautiful designs. But people will look at it and go, oh, I really like that flower. What is it? And they'll look at the plant list, and then in here, we don't have the botanical names, but at least they'll have a general idea of what it is. In the horticulture, we have the botanical names. So if they look at it and go, I really want one of those, they can write it down, take it to their nursery and say, I want one of these.
I see. That's wonderful. So are there winners and losers?
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, of course, this is a judged show. And what we do is, we're divided, think of it in different components. We have what we call sections, which is one section is, for example, the first section, Section A here in the design division, is what we call the Designer's Choice Award that is given. There are, and within that section, there are 3 classes. And then within each class, there are 4 entries. So kind of think of it as a progression. The judges judged each section. They each judged a section, and we always judge in panels of 3. They judged each section, and then they gave the section award. So those 3 classes or 12 exhibitors got judged, and they picked the best one for the Designer's Choice Award.
Wow.
Each section is the same thing. We had table artistry, so we had 3 classes of table artistry. One of them was a functional table for 2. One of them was this fancy exhibition table where they arrange things on in a black frame, and it's not functional, so they can place them any way they want.
Right.
And then we have trays.
Wonderful.
So that's the second class. And then we had what we call tricolor, which is where the plant material must all be live plant material, fresh plant material, no dried plant material.
Well, so there are some dried materials here.
There are some, yes, but the designer's choice can be either fresh or dried.
I see.
In the table classes, the arrangements can be fresh and or dried, but the tricolor class must be all fresh plant material. And there are 3 of those, so that again, that panel of judges picked which one was they thought was the very best one, and gave it what we call the tricolor award. And lastly, you can see behind us, we have our petite division or section, and that we have some designs that are no bigger than 6 inches in any direction, some that are no bigger than 9, and some that are no bigger than 11. Those are they're harder to do than the big
I
ones,
can't even imagine.
but they're fascinating. And that there is a petite award that is given for that. So then the judges look at it and they go, all right, we've got the designer's choice, we've got the tricolor, we've got the table artistry, and we've got the petite. Which one of those 4 is the very best?
Oh.
And that gets the Design Excellence Award.
I see. Now, have they all been judged?
Everything was judged yesterday morning.
Yes.
And the judges always make comments for each and every entry. So as the public goes through, they can read on the entry cards.
Oh, nice.
And when you're judging, you always give a positive comment, and you give a constructive comment that's educational for both the designer and the public.
Wonderful. Now, okay, so who puts this on again?
The Southeastern District of the
Okay.
Garden Club Federation of Massachusetts. And the Garden Club Federation of Massachusetts is a part of National Garden Clubs, Inc.
I see.
Yes.
So what happens, like, I know they used to do things at the MFA and in Boston, and they used to do things other places.
Okay. MFA is an art and bloom type of
Right,
thing.
right.
That is not judged.
I see.
Here, this is judged, and there are all kinds of rules and things you have to follow, and the judges go through a long training program to become judges, and so these are judged shows. And I have to backtrack. I inadvertently left out one of the divisions. We have educational. So
I
there
see.
are 4 educational exhibits that are out in the hallway
As well.
as well,
Oh,
and
my
are part
goodness.
of the whole show.
So you just, when you come from the sidewalk into the tent, then in here to the hallway, and then into this room, which has a blank palette.
Exactly.
And it's so wonderful to see all these colors against it, you know? It
I
just
know.
really makes them
Well,
pop.
that's what we were hoping for. The other thing that I thought was special this year, we did what's called a companion class. It was judged, and it is 2 people working together, hence companion.
Yeah.
And there were 4 entries. This is a good way of encouraging new people to get involved, to come in and try this. And even though they're judged, they've got help along the way.
So where are your other shows?
Well, this show is for the Southeastern District.
And it's one time a year.
It's once a year.
And do you ever do it? Have you done it here always? No.
No, we used to do it at the Barnstable Fair. We were there for
Oh.
35 years.
Oh my gosh, it's so hot there.
In a tent, and it's usually this week when the
Yeah,
fair is going
right,
on. We all
right.
melted for
Right,
many years.
yeah.
We are thrilled to be in here.
Oh, it's
This is
beautiful.
actually our 39th year
Wow.
of doing this.
So what are you going to do next year for your 40th anniversary? Something big?
I'm not going to be the show chairman.
Oh,
I've done
no.
it for 2 years. It's someone else's turn. So,
Oh, that poor person that has to come after you.
but we have so many talented people. We also have what's called a Southeastern District Design and Horticulture Study Group, which has been meeting at Heritage for years.
Right.
And we used to do a show here every other year as a thank you to Heritage for letting us use the space. And now we've combined that with the district show and made it into one show.
Wow.
But these people, we meet 4 times a year. We have design assignments. You come in, and in there, we critique each other. And it's like, this is if a judge were looking at it, but if we had moved this and put it here, or you had moved that and put it there, if you turned it away, it's a great educational tool. And without that practice and somebody giving you feedback, you don't learn as much.
Well, how many members do you have?
In the study group?
No,
Or in the district?
In the district.
We have 17, we cover 17 clubs.
Wow.
And I
Which
believe
would
the number
include
is
Cape
close
Cod?
to 1,400.
Wow.
1,400, yeah.
Yeah.
We have, we're generally located on the Cape, but we do include Plymouth and Bridgewater and Lakeville and Somerset and
Wow.
Greater New Bedford. So we do get off
Literally
Cape as
the
well.
South Shore, too,
It
so-
literally is partway up the South Shore.
Yeah, that is wonderful. So is it mostly women that do this?
Yes. We do have a few token men.
Yeah? Well, that's always good to have a few
It's always
tokens.
good token men. Some of the garden clubs are more successful than others at encouraging men. I belong to the Falmouth Garden Club, and we now have a couple of men who are members, which is wonderful. Some of them like design, some of them just like horticulture.
Sure.
And that's okay too.
Yeah.
But one of the judges who has been involved on the national level as well is from Massachusetts, and it is a male.
Yes.
And his name is Tony Tedesco. A lot of people have heard of Tony.
Oh my gosh.
So we do have a few men, but yes, you are right. The
It's
majority
mostly
of it is
women.
women.
And do you have, seriously, can you be a novice and do this, or do you really have to have?
You really can be a novice, and one of the things the garden clubs try to encourage their members and teach them by having workshops.
Sure.
All of us who are flower show judges, I happen to be a master judge, been around a long time, but what we do is we offer to help conduct those workshops. So we teach people how to do this. And if a club wants to do, for example, what we call a small standard flower show, which is only 3 design classes as opposed to this many,
Right.
and 3 horticulture classes, we would offer to go in and have a workshop for each of the types of designs that they are including in their what we call the schedule, which tells people what it is, what the show is going to be. So that gives them a comfort level.
I see.
And then they come in, and we also offer just to mentor them along the way. So we're
Sure.
trying to encourage new people to come. And then when we do this schedule, we try to include some classes that are for less experienced people. Our companion class is a good starting
see.
point for that. We have a class of trays. People love to do trays. We have functional tables. Well, people are used to doing tables
Right.
and at home.
Yeah.
And they are comfortable doing that. So we try to bring them in. And once they get in here and see how much fun it is, one of the things that I find is wonderful is that people in this group, everybody that's new comments, everyone is so supportive.
Oh, wow.
Everyone is so helpful.
And that's a good thing.
It's a wonderful thing. You know, we're all competing
because you're
against.
thinking they might be a little bit, I don't know, I'll use the term hoity-toity, a little bit aloof, I'm a flower ranger and I've won 5 blue ribbons or whatever, and they're not that way. Is what you're
They're
saying.
not that way at all. And if someone has a problem or an issue, every once in a while somebody's forgotten to bring something or someone's lost something. Does anybody have? And somebody always does and
Right.
offers it right
Oh,
up.
that's great.
Or, as much as we compete against each other, and we love to beat each other, but we are all friends and we are very, very supportive of each other.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, excuse me. So, tell me, what about? Okay, if I have a growing garden, right?
Yep.
That I'll call
Excuse me.
a cutting garden, for lack
Yep.
of a better term. I have this cutting garden. What flowers would you suggest that are grown? I have a friend who said always grow zinnias. Zinnias, because zinnias, you can put them in anything, just them with other things, and they look fabulous. But what would you recommend for a cutting garden?
I'm smiling at the zinnias because I have a raised bed that is full of zinnias. To
Okay.
me, they are the summer flower,
Yeah.
and I love them. But any of the annuals will do well. When you perused outside, one of the classes that we had in the horticulture was called a display. And out there, I'm going to sidetrack a little bit
Yeah.
from your question.
That's all right.
Out there in that class, you have to have 5 pieces of plant material, and they get judged both for the quality of the plant material, but also for how they are artistically arranged.
Oh.
Now, I'm going to brag a little bit.
It's okay.
I got the Collector's Showcase Award for
Wow.
my display, and the reason I'm mentioning it is that it was 5 different amaranths. I don't know if you know amaranths or not.
I don't know what an amaranth. Tell
They
me what
look
an
like
amaranth
they have
is.
these flower stalks that come down like this, that hang down.
Oh.
And I grew them all from seed.
Oh my goodness.
So, and that's in one of my raised beds. But things like the marigolds, the zinnias, any of your standard cleome, your standard summer annuals. I happen to love perennials. My very one of my very most favorites is a Japanese anemone. It blooms in August and into, that one blooms more early September into October. And it's called Whirlwind.
And you can cut it.
You can cut it, but it's great in a garden because it grows up and then it's got like 5 or 6 different little stems that come up, and there's a flower on the end of each one.
Oh my goodness.
And they bloom at different times. So it has an extended bloom period. It looks like white moths, like white butterflies.
Ooh.
And in the evening, as it's starting to get dusk, you look out the window and,
And they're
there's
kind
all
of
this white
flooding-
flight
oh.
floating around. It's one of my very most favorite
Ooh,
perennials.
They sound beautiful.
And of course, you can't beat daylilies. They're
No, you
low
can't.
maintenance, they're beautiful.
But how do you keep when you cut daylilies, how do you keep them from wilting the next day?
You don't. You can't.
Okay.
Their lifespan is
One
that's why
day.
they're called daylilies. Now,
Oh, duh.
duh, the ones that were entered here, almost all of them had additional buds.
Oh,
so
I
the
see.
hope was that when that one died, the next ones would
Would
open
open.
up.
I see. So that would be the way, if you want to cut a daylily and do daylilies, make sure they have like 1 or 2 more buds coming.
Exactly.
I see.
And you can't beat the Shasta daisies, and now
Oh,
they've
yeah.
got so many new ones. They've
Right.
got one that's out there that's called Buttercream. It's a soft, creamy yellow that's absolutely beautiful. All of your echinaceas.
Oh, sure.
You know, as you're doing, even thinking in terms of cutting gardens, but whether they're perennials or annuals,
Mm-hmm.
I'm an organic gardener. I'm an ecological landscape gardener.
I
So
see.
I'm always looking for plants that are bee, bird, and butterfly attracting.
Well, we all know that it's very important to make sure we get our bees, that we don't get rid of our dandelions and we don't poison our lawns, and it's very,
Exactly.
very important, those bees.
Well, and the other thing I have found is that if you have enough of these plants that will attract the birds and the bees and the butterflies, what ends up happening is the birds take care of the insects. I have very few insect problems in my garden. And
Wow.
I think that's why.
Because
Because I'm an organic gardener and I plant the plants that I know will provide seeds
I see.
and that will give food to the birds and the other critters.
oh, that's great. Well, the only thing about critters is my garden. I don't want them in my tomatoes. I don't want them eating my cucumbers. So I do a lot of literally table raised. I have table raised gardens.
Yep.
So that it's table height. I have a very clever son-in-law who built me 2 that I use, and then I put my tomatoes on my deck because I live on a marsh.
Oh.
And when you live on a marsh, as my grandkids used to call them, the monkeys, they're actually groundhogs, they like to just eat about everything. So,
The favorite topic of conversation
Yeah.
within one of my groups of friends
Yeah.
is, and what are you doing to keep the rabbits out? This has been a dreadful rabbit year.
Well,
They are everywhere.
and here's the thing, they were not around at all. Here in Sandwich, you rarely saw a rabbit. And now, because I think the coyote population has died off because of some virus, now we have rabbits.
I've found that foxes are better at
And
eating
foxes.
rabbits than
Well,
the
we don't even have
coyotes.
foxes right now. I haven't seen any
We
foxes.
we have them in our community.
Oh, that's
but
good.
it's like these rabbits are very picky. They go after my favorite flowers. I
Of
love
course.
phlox.
Yeah.
The white
Oh, yeah,
phlox
yeah, yeah,
David that's
yeah.
so beautiful. They walk around, they'll find it even if it's in the middle of something else.
And they'll eat it.
And they'll eat it.
So do you put a fence up around it or no? Because it's in
Well,
your
you
yard.
can, but
Yeah.
I've got too many gardens and all
I was
to
gonna
do
say,
that.
how
That
would you do
doesn't
that?
work.
Right.
So you try using different rabbit repellent type things. One of my garden club members said she uses an equal mix of cayenne pepper,
Mm-hmm.
garlic powder, red pepper flakes, and flour, white flour.
Really?
That white flour
And
kind of
s-
holds it together, sprinkles it around, and it's the smell
That keeps them away.
that keeps them away. I have one rabbit. I have an area right outside my patio that he comes and he's made himself a little hollow and he sleeps there during the day. He
There you
rests when
go.
it's too hot. And he was panting so much in the heat, I couldn't chase him. Usually I'm out there screaming at them, chasing
Yeah.
them away.
Oh
And
my
I had
goodness.
to take heart.
Well, now what do you do in the winter? Because, I mean, do you have a greenhouse at your
No.
home? No.
I don't.
So you go and hang out in Mahoney's? Or?
Winter is my hibernation time.
I
I live
see.
with my seed catalogs
I see.
and dream of what I want for next year. I'm not an indoor plant person.
I see.
I'm surprised I'm not, but I
Right.
am not. But I'm very fortunate in that I have an extra downstairs bedroom that I have put up. I put up a plant stand, which will hold 8 shop lights.
Wow.
And so I can start things from seed in March or April, put them under the shop lights, raise the shop lights as the plants grow, and then harden them off come just around Memorial Day
Oh my
and plant them
goodness.
outside. That's where all my zinnias come from. That's where
I
all these
see.
amaranth came from. That's
Oh,
where
that's
my
wonderful.
marigolds come from.
That's
So
wonderful.
That
so
works for me.
Tell me, when you do that and you plant from seed, you know how it gets all, I mean, when you plant from seed, you may do just a few seeds, but a lot of things come up in that little pot or that little
Well-
tray. How do you decide which ones to pick and which ones to leave?
I, years ago, was given a book that is my Bible when it comes to starting seeds. And it said, you don't have to buy the fancy pots or anything. It suggested using plastic milk cartons.
Yeah?
So I take my gallon milk cartons, I cut them up so they're about this high,
Yeah.
and that's what I start my seeds in. Once they have germinated and have gotten their first true leaves, the first set of leaves are little seedling leaves, but once they've gotten their first true leaves, then I take them out of that container and I pick the healthiest looking ones,
I
the ones that
see.
have the strongest stems, the ones that have the best formed leaves, and I plant them. I can put 9 in one of these milk cartons.
I see.
And so that gives them room for and depth for their
But
roots to
that
grow.
would be, I would think you would need the depth.
Every time I look at these little ones, I'm going, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
I want these roots to really develop. So then when I'm ready to transplant them outside, I take them out of the container and then I'll take a knife and just slice them into little cubes and plant the cube down in the ground.
Oh my gosh. I
It
never
works.
thought of that, and it works.
It works.
You must be a miracle worker.
No, I just love gardening. The other thing I do, I feed them,
Mm-hmm.
and I feed them with Neptune's Harvest, again, because I'm an organic gardener.
Right.
I like that fish emulsion kind of thing, but a very weak solution because these are babies, and
Mm-hmm. Right,
you want to
and it would
encourage
burn
them to
them,
grow, but it would
Yeah.
burn them,
Yeah.
and I don't want that to happen. But it does promote
Amazing.
healthy growth, and then once I get them in the ground, I will continue that about every 2 weeks, especially the annuals. I will feed them with that weak diluted solution.
Amazing. And you've done this for here. I mean, you've done this for the southeastern
District
district of the Garden Clubs
Federation of Massachusetts.
Federation of Massachusetts.
Very
I'll
good.
never get it right. But you've done this for 2 years. You've been
Oh, the
in
show
charge.
chairman, yes. I chaired this show when it was in Barnstable a number of years ago. But
Uh-huh.
we were at a point where we needed a chairman, and they asked me if I would please do it again,
Wonderful.
and I said yes.
So what made you pick Heritage again?
Well,
Besides the air conditioning.
oh, that's the fringe benefit,
Yes.
believe me. We had our study group, the Southeastern District Design and
Uh-huh.
Horticulture Study Group, this goes back to prior administrations. We
Right.
had started using, they had said we could use some of their space. We knew some of the people here, and they said, oh, come use us. And so we met here, and that's when we offered to do a flower show for them every other year. So that's where
Oh.
this started. And
I
then,
see.
and we were still doing the district show
Uh-huh.
at the fairgrounds.
Right.
Well, you had a lot of the same people.
And it's a
as
lot to do.
we got older, we all went, excuse me, why are we doing 2 big shows a year when we could do 1?
Right.
And so we decided to combine forces. And so and now we have just the one. And it is the Southeastern District Flower Show supported by the Southeastern District
see.
Design and Horticulture
see.
Study Group.
All right, I'm telling you, somebody's got big shoes to fill.
Well, it's easy when you have a wonderful committee
Right.
that does a great job, and when you've got so many talented people it's a privilege to be able to provide a means and a venue for them to display their talents.
And is Heritage, I assume, just welcomed you with open arms?
They have. We have been very fortunate and very,
Wonderful.
very appreciative
Wonderful.
of the welcome we've received here.
Well, you know, we feel lucky if you live in Sandwich to have this wonderful, we used to call it, a sleeping jewel of the Cape. Well, it's not so sleepy anymore.
No, it's
and,
not.
And you can hear the people behind us and the people that have come to this show. I mean, everybody is looking at everything and they're so excited about seeing all these wonderful creations.
Well, it really is amazing, and people, because a lot of these are what we call creative designs, people are going, how did they ever come up with that idea?
Right.
But they do.
All right, last thing before we close, tell me your one most exotic flower that you have here.
Oh, that we have here
In this show.
in this show. Oh, that one's hard.
Uh-oh, I gave you a hard one, sorry.
You did. You promised you wouldn't.
Sorry.
In the design division or out in the horticulture?
Whichever one you want. Doesn't matter to me.
I would say it would have to come in the horticulture division. And there is one that I had never seen before. And it is sort of a type of allium. If you Google up alliums, you would find it. But it's a reddish orange, and I believe it was called Sudan's. I'd never heard of it before.
Wow.
But if you get out in the horticulture, check it. It's under the bulbs, corms, tubers, and rhizomes section, and it is a big globe, like about this big, and it's a reddish orange. It is spectacular.
Wonderful. It is so fun to be here. And I will once again say I did peruse the tent. I'm going to do the hall here next. But I did peruse the tent. And I'm telling you right now, I think you ought to expand your division of fairy gardens.
We opened it to everybody. We said it was an unlimited number of
Right.
people. And so this was the first time we had done one.
They are so adorable.
They are.
And you live in Falmouth, so you know that Highfield Hall does a
Oh, of
whole
course.
fairy garden event.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I think every granddaughter in a Cape Cod goes to see that. So now that they're here, they should come and see these too.
Absolutely.
So how long are you here?
Just until 5 o'clock tonight. We take the
Oh,
show
we
down
don't-
tomorrow morning.
Oh my gosh, because the flowers go away.
They only last so long.
Right.
Either the horticulture or the designs.
Well, you should be very happy with what has happened here for sure.
I am so proud of all of these people, and it is
Excellent.
it's an exciting, wonderful venue, and the show I think is spectacular.
Excellent.
If I do say so myself.
You've done a good job.
Thank you.
So good to meet you.
Nice
Hala.
to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me today for another Cape Conversation. Wow, Heritage is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place, and it's one of the gems of Cape Cod for sure. And then to have all these gorgeous flowers here, Hyla was so informative and so much fun. I'm going to say I'd hate to have to be the person to go into her shoes for sure. And I'm standing in front of, I think, fairy tutus. What do you think? Aren't those gorgeous? They are beautiful. I think maybe I could wear it as an ankle bracelet. But anyway, I want to thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you next time on another Cape Conversation.